talk about that offline a little bit too.
Yeah, you bet.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
it's getting close to 11:05. I like to get started at 11:04, 11:03. So, Geoff, you are no stranger. Our guest today is no stranger to podcasting and helping the mortgage industry get connected to what we need to succeed. And our more momentum webinars are always about helping you succeed every Thursday at 11 a.m. And Geoff's been a friend of Momentum Builders and Don and I for many years. And we always say we're going to do more stuff together, and then we kind of never do. So I'm super happy that you're here today, man.
I appreciate the invitation. I love how you guys are leading the industry with relevant knowledge and information and a community to help them educate, engage, and empower for this wonderful business.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, man, what we're talking about today, I sounded like a crazy person about a year ago. And Sonia, who's there, she even sent an email to our team, says, you guys better be on this one because Gino's going to quiz you at the next sales meeting. Because I've been pounding the table about AI for at least a year. And if you see how fast it's moved in the last year, it's absolutely incredible. I think it's only been about a year since maybe a year and a half since we were introduced to OpenAI for the first time. It's like, oh, let me try this thing. And you're like, oh, that's cute. I don't know what it does. And then all of a sudden you're like, holy smokes, it's becoming real. You can't live without it now. I personally, and my kids get mad at me for it, but I've replaced Google searches altogether. I currently use Perplexity AI as my full-time 100% search engine. I don't like Gemini, but we could talk a little bit more about that. What's your experience been so far, Geoff?
With AI in general?
Yeah, just as a let's just like to frame it like AI in general. What have we dealt with so far? And then we can talk about how we can actually use this thing to help us.
Yeah, it's a great question. And as you know, and I'm sure everybody's here knowing, there's a bunch of narratives that are floating around the internet and the world and amongst your friends and people. It varies depending upon who you talk to. But I am a believer, and I do think we are just at the early stages, and look at the impact it's already had. And so the answer, I think, is like, hold on to your hats, number one. Number two, embrace. I'm a fan of, it's not the strongest to survive, it's the most adaptable to change. And those that can learn new skills for the new environment, folks, AI is it. Like, this is the new environment. And much as, like, I often hold up my phone and go, remember how we've bitched and moaned about like having to learn how to use this thing, the mobile phone, and like hosting on social and video, like those are new skills that we had to learn. AI is another new skill, and it's challenging because we're busy. It's a fire hose coming at us, but I would just say to encourage you to stay with it, be open-minded, and just attend things like these and other events and workshops where you can learn how to adapt it for you.
Yeah, I think it's going to become muscle memory. I think you identified a great analogy with the phone there, saying that I just can't imagine living without it now.
Right.
And I think that's where we'll be 10 years from now, where it's just part of ingrained in our daily lives. And like I said, for me, it's already ingrained in my daily life. And by no means have I mastered it. No. In fact, everybody's seen this little sticker on Instagram, disappear for 30 days and learn AI, right? Everyone's seen that one.
Yeah.
I sent it to Sonia at least once a week. And she hasn't asked me for 30 days off yet, though. So I guess she's not paying attention to it. Yeah, I think to avoid overwhelmedness with that's a word, to avoid feeling overwhelmed by AI, for me, I think best practice is pick one, and learn it and try it and figure out what you like and what you don't like. And once you've mastered one, then you could try something else. And so in my household, I use Perplexity. My wife likes Copilot. My kids, which is very, very interesting, absolutely hate everything about AI and don't want to have anything to do with it.
It's interesting. So my 23-year-old says this, not exactly doesn't want, but he definitely goes negative. I mean, so what are we learning to not think for ourselves anymore? Right.
Dad, you're just being sold whatever they want to sell you. How do you know what sources it's coming from? You're just a sucker. You just believe anything you're told. And I'm like, there's footnotes to science that goes with it. Like, there is a way to go figure it out. The idea is, so for me, the way I describe AI and the way that I use it, it's my research assistant.
Yeah. Exactly. I've called it the digital assistant. I'm curious if I can. Let's pivot to, if you don't
Yeah.
mind, the audience. What are you guys using? Which tool or tools are your top 1 to 3 tools that you go to right now?
So Google the 30-day thing. It's a total scam. Don't do it.
You know,
All right, so let's see.
really
ChatGPT,
Instagram ads that look awesome, and
Gemini.
the majority of them are terrible.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a bunch of people come in. Adrian, Gemini, Tony, Chat. I'm old school. Old. Look at that. Lauren, by the way, what's up, Lauren? Hey, good to see you, man. Lauren and I used to work together. Old school GPT. That's funny though. A lot of GPT, Grok. See, I haven't embraced Grok yet at all.
Me neither.
Which is great. Like, that's the point. Like, gravitate to where you feel is most natural for you. Adrian, Gemini. Anybody using Claude? I don't see any Claude people in here. I'm going to show you how I used it this morning.
I have a little Grok FOMO right now. Like,
I know, right?
should I be trying
It's just
it?
such a cute name. Hey, the next day I had to come out as Gronk. No, that's a whole separate subject. That's the dumbed down AI.
Let's tap a Grok. Wow, Grok. Look at Grok, man.
Every time you say Geoff, I keep looking. Geoff, we are talking to you, so pay attention.
That's right.
All right. Now, there's that question. Now, let me ask this. What has been your most frequent use case of AI? So you gave me the tools or the platforms. Now, how do you tend to use it most often? For writing, for social media? There we go. Aubrey, social media posts, building spreadsheets. Woo, geeking out there. Better grammar, Gino. Nice.
I speak well, but I write like shit.
Right. That does definitely help with that. Creating presentations. Lynette, there you go. Creating presentations. What do you use for that? I'm curious. I have one I have been using a lot, which I'll actually bring that up too here. Learning empathy in situations. Ooh, wow. Teaching you empathy. Matthew's a hard ass and he's learning empathy. Rock for picking NBA games. Social posts, dumbing down Fed statements. Interesting.
Oh, I like that. Oh, by the way, that's a good point. Actually, we could at some point. I'd love to dig into that because you could tell it read this at this grade level and retype it at this grade level, and that is a win when it relates to when you're going to be having social content or any content that's forward facing to a consumer.
Larry says, write a workshop for realtors. Which tool do you use for that, Larry? Oh, that's in my wheelhouse, baby. I do that all day long, every day. So which tool do you use for that, Larry? ChatGPT. Okay, cool. All right. So where do you want to start? Do you want me to?
Wherever you want. You run with it, man. I'm just here to give you my 2 cents.
And I got to make sure my quotes. Okay. So I'm going to just, I thought, look, guys, here's the thing. First of all, coming to this invitation, which I'm grateful to be here, and thank you everybody who showed up. I know you're super busy. So let's get into some tactics and takeaway examples. Thanks for sharing yours. I think when I come to these two, it's also challenging and a bit daunting, like I shared with you guys before we hit live, is because to be invited, at least my opinion, for me personally, to be invited to a discussion or a panel about AI and the assumption is, oh, this guy or gal knows something about AI. Well, I got to feel like I'm just a baby, right? And I'm just, like we said, Gino, we're figuring out this thing as we go. And so I'm not showing up to say I'm an expert at all. I'm just showing up because I'm a practitioner and I'm learning every single day how to better utilize this and try and drown out the hype, like disappear for 30 days, right? Drown out the hype and actually just feel about like, how can I actually use it? So that's what I want to jump in and show you guys right now, is something I did this morning. And I'll probably bounce around with a few different examples, but let me go to share my screen. And so like some of you said, do you ever struggle with what to post on social? I know the answer. Do you ever struggle with like, how do I write this? How do I come up with it? Like an image for social media and things like that. I want to show you what I did this morning because I had to get a post up on LinkedIn because, you get to get them out there in the morning on LinkedIn if you really want to get the algorithm love. So I decided I was going to do a post on a story of a member of mine, a client of mine, who she works with me to teach classes to real estate agents. And I have this success story. And so I decided so here's the LinkedIn post. I'm going to open it up in a second, but I decided to write the post first. I was posting it in LinkedIn. And then what I decided to do was go to Claude. And now you can do the same thing with GPT or any of the other writing tools. But I basically said, here's my LinkedIn post. What suggestions would you have to make it more engaging for the reader to drive comments, et cetera? So this was what I had. And then it made these suggestions. Oops. Headline improvement, opening hook enhancement, story structure, like to your point earlier, Gino, of digital assistant, right? Marketing assistant. Think about the word assistant and all the different use cases. So it coached me on what to do. But then, of course, I said, hey, please rewrite for your suggestions. Feel free to suggest a relevant image for the post. So boom, here it goes. It rewrites it. And I go through it and the structure is better. Like there's enough things that are better about it than my original off the cuff, just I'm going to write this in 6 minutes post. So like it took about a minute or less to rewrite it and reformat it. Now I didn't just copy and paste it as is because I want to make sure it's in my voice, and we can get into like how your voice and things like that. But the point is I'm testing Claude out versus GPT, and GPT is much more trained on my own personal voice. But a lot of people are saying they like Claude better for writing. So I'm testing that out. You guys will have your own experience with this, of course.
And I think,
yeah, go ahead.
To your point there, just to dig in for a
Yeah.
second, that's what I do is I say, I don't like this sentence, remove it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll copy and put it in there. And I'll say, okay,
yeah,
too wordy, make it more concise. And they'll make it more concise. And then I'll say, review the last 10 conversations we've had and utilize more of my natural tone.
Mm-hmm.
So I start telling it, you have to tell it what to do and how to do it. So just, we keep saying the word assistant, but that's kind of what it is. It's not magic trick. And by the way, if you just use it raw, the way it comes out, it's terrible. Like when someone just posts something completely raw and they haven't taken the time to personalize it, I don't think it's good. I think good comes from machine plus human equals good.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can tell when it's all strictly AI written. And you can train, at least GPT is what I've trained it on. I know you can do it on some of the others. You can train it on your voice and style by uploading other content you've written. And it now GPT starts to build this memory of understanding, building some identification of your style, your framework, and things like that. But back to the point of how I started out using it as a digital assistant is I would communicate it with, just like you and I are talking right now. Like you said, remove the line, or I would say, hey, this is cheesy, or it sounds AI. Now there are some secrets and hacks, and I'm going to share a group with you guys. If you're open to it, Gino, this is where I allowed to get my information from, for this Facebook group. Do you know Jonathan Mast?
Heard the name, but don't know him well.
Is it okay if I tell people about it later?
Heck yeah, of course.
Okay. All right. You guys are gonna love it. But anyway, the point being is there are ways to train the AI so it does actually output you, and you don't have to coach it as much as it goes. I'm not an expert on how to do that, and now is not the session to do that. The session today is to show you how you can immediately start using it. So confirm, you guys were seeing my screen earlier, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because somebody said they couldn't.
Yeah, it wasn't there, but it came. Yeah.
All right. So you're seeing it now?
Yep.
Okay. So here's the cool thing is I also remember I asked it to suggest an image if you would like to. And so here's what it gave me was a prompt. Now, have you guys messed around at all, those in the chat here? Have you tried using image generating tools, Midjourney, other things like that for AI images?
A little bit. It's kind of one of those things where I tried it early on and I gave up.
Yeah. So a lot of people, exactly, Gino, a lot of people saying, yes, it's not easy. No, no, no. And I agree. The secret with image creation is the prompt. And that is sometimes its own art and science as well. So what's cool about using AI to generate prompts for you is they'll write a better AI prompt than you will, because there's certain characteristics and things that need to be in there. So just as a quick test, remember, this morning, I got to get a social post out and I'm like, I want an image for this social post. What am I going to do? Spend 30 minutes finding one on Google or whatever, go to Canva and create one, right? I'm going to go, no, suggest a prompt for me. So it did. And then it created this. And then I actually was able to dig through and look at a couple other ones. Like I'm in Midjourney right now, by the way. And you have this little looking glass, hourglass thing over here. And if I click that, it will then bring me to other related images in Midjourney, so that if I don't like the one it initially generated, I can click through and now start to look at this entire library of images that were created by other people, by the AI, right?
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Now, if I bring this full circle, what did I do? Boom, come back to my LinkedIn post. Here's the post. Here's the story about how Janelle got $2 million in purchase money referrals from an agent she never even met because she teaches agent classes. And the image, everything's ready to go for it, right? Now, if I go to, let me see if I can see it here. All right, so this was just posted roughly an hour ago or so. 144 impressions so far. So yeah, maybe it's killing it, maybe it's not. I don't know. But the point is, I saved a lot of time. I saved a lot of effort and cognitive drain. Now, is this my ideal situation? Is it better to have a schedule and build your calendar out for posts? 100%. But I know if you guys are like me, you've been caught in a pinch before with needing something to get out there.
Done is better than perfect, Geoff, every time.
Yeah. By the way, Trey says, can you ask ChatGPT to create the prompt you use? Absolutely. You can just, again, it's your assistant. Hey, I need a relevant image, right? You can give it different characteristic descriptions if you want modern, filmic, right? There's certain language that is around images and things like that. And the more you use images, the more you'll recognize those terms that are used. Realistic, different things like that.
Sepia,
yeah.
you want it to have that yellow color. Like, you have to start getting a little better, like a photographer almost, when it comes down to those things. I mean, it is so specific, by the way. This is why I gave up. You could tell it your aperture, the speed, like you could start giving it all these really, really detailed professional photographer like cues, and it'll start adding light in different places. And I'm just not good enough.
All right, let me get you guys want another one. And does anybody have any? Well, for instance, the last couple of days I've been working on cost of waiting analyses, and this is for a class we're teaching real estate agents called the cost of waiting. And so I've been asking some loan officers to give me some cost of waiting scenarios or whatever. Bottom line, I did one myself in MBS Highway. So let me go here and share this. Now we're getting really specific. Mortgage. Okay, so I'm in MBS Highway. This particular example is 2 years. I had a different one that was 1 year, but it's up on the screen. So I wanted to show you what I did with this though. So I've got these two images here, right? I've got one that's kind of the summary image of the cost of waiting, 2 years to buy, impact of payment, et cetera. And then there's the actual, the more detailed property loan and details. So what I did with this is I went into ChatGPT and I first took the longer one with the whole breakdown of the whole financial scenario. And I said, can you use this image? Did you know ChatGPT can read images? Could use this image and draft a brief script or summary to be used to explain this cost of waiting. The script will be an interact with the potential home buyer about buying now versus waiting. Which, by the way, a quick side note. Back to this concept of digital assistant. The more instructions you give, the better. Like if you had a person working for you and you just said, hey, could you go write a summary of this? Well, they don't necessarily, well, for who? Who's going to be the recipient? How are you going to, like, context matters. Okay. So the better you can prompt it, the more instructions you can give, the better output it's going to be. All right. So let me go back. Okay, so that was just part one. I gave it this, and here's what it gave me. Now, let's say you're doing a cost of waiting or some type of rent versus buy or some type of scenario that I know you guys do, right? Some of you are great at talking already, right? Maybe you want to write an email. For me, this was just a script. I could have asked it for an email, or I could go in right now and say, hey, could you now format this for an email or a social post or whatever, right? An Instagram post, use emojis, use hashtags, whatever I want to tell it, it will do. But now it took that picture, right? And it gave me an example of a script. Well, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Smith, right? I wanted to run some numbers by you to show the real cost of waiting to buy a home. You guys get into it, right? And then I just decided to do a test. I uploaded this image instead of the detailed image. And here's another image. Can you give me any talking points? So maybe just a shorter bullet point thing. If you want to use this as a script, you're sending a video, maybe you're on a Zoom with the client and you want to glance at your bullet points. Well, now you can reference that. Final thought. If you're ready, now's a smart time to buy. You'll avoid paying more for the same home, and you can always refi if rates come down. Let's talk about your options. All right, I'll stop there. See if, Gino, you got any thoughts or anybody in the crowd here?
Yeah, I mean, I have, yeah, Chris, everybody's muted automatically, but chat away. And if you want to be promoted and join the conversation, we're totally cool with that too. One of the things that I find as I saw you uploading pictures and I've gone down this like health and wellness journey over the last few years.
Cool.
And I am a supplement nerd. Like I am trying to find the optimum supplement for everything.
Mm-hmm.
What I do is I take pictures of the back of the nutrition facts and the ingredients, and I upload all of them. And I'm like, compare all of them, compare them to the clinical dosages, look for scientific.
Smart.
I go look for scientific articles that reference this particular supplement. What dosage should it be used in for athletic performance? What dosage should it be used in for weight loss? Like, be creative. This is a canvas. AI is just an open canvas, but be as creative as you want. I've actually gone as far as uploading my blood tests. And I told it, I said, act as a naturopathic doctor and identify any areas of opportunities or betterment or any trends that seem alarming and could be pointing to a bigger problem.
Oh, I love that. I've done actually quite similar things. Gino, I had my whole 100 blood panels done. What's the name of that? Function. Did you join Function? Yeah. Yeah, I joined that. I've had my freaking arm drained over there.
The first time I ever went, I had my first naturopath appointment was like 3 years ago, and prior to Function. And I went to and we'll make this quick, but I went to Quest to go get the blood drawn. And the lady goes, "Can I ask you something personal?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't care. I'm an open book." What's wrong with you? I go, what do you mean? She's like, I see people with cancer. I see people with problems all the time. I never took 28 vials. What's going on here?
All right. Get in front of it.
And I said, oh, my doctor says he doesn't believe anything anybody says to him. So he wants to test everything so he can make his own determination. I was like, that makes a lot of sense.
We got to geek out about that offline.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to some of the comments in here. And I want to show you another example. Somebody asked, first of all, right here, Troy. I don't have my damn glasses on. Does that say Trey or Troy?
It says Troy, but
Troy.
He's asking is super, super cool. I really want to be able to do that. I haven't done that yet.
Neither have I.
Okay.
Connect ChatGPT to platforms like Outlook, Calendar, etc.
Hey, Troy, put it in chat and ask it if it can.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, because I think there are some limitations to that. So that'd be interesting to dig in. Let us know, Troy, and come back to us in 5 minutes. That's all it's going to take.
Yeah.
Just, hey, can you connect to my Outlook? Right. Anna, how do you feel about uploading personal info? What do you mean? What kind of personal info? So you can answer that when you get a second.
As far as safe, I mean, I just talk about safety. I just told you I uploaded all my medical records. I don't give a damn. You already, by the way, that just happens to be my personal position.
Yeah.
If you hold one of these bad boys, Big Brother has been watching you and does whatever he wants with your information. And none of us read the privacy thing. And even if you did, who cares? Just acknowledge and accept that you have no privacy, and that's okay.
Yep. Right on. All right. Another tool I want to share with you guys is Gamma. Have you used Gamma yet, Gino?
Okay. I've heard the name, but I haven't used it.
So for those of you that are creating presentations like me, and I use Canva a lot. I've used obviously PowerPoint. Some of you old school people need to get off of PowerPoint, but because I create so many presentations, I'm looking to scale the output of that and do it more quickly with better imagery and different things like that. And so I've been using Canva and testing, I've been using Gamma and testing Gamma out. So I want to share this with you because Gamma is like my new favorite presentation tool. I'm not going to say it's great for, nothing is 100%, right? But I want to show you this presentation I've been creating, which we've been talking about, is the cost of waiting, right? So the cool thing about Gamma, let me go back to the homepage here and show you how this works real easy. Okay, so what I love about this is there's a variety of different options that you have to create a presentation. Number one, if I hit the top right here, this purple button, create new eye, gives me 3 options. Paste in text from an outline, from notes, from existing content, which, by the way, you can use any of the AIs, ChatGPT or Claude. You can have it grab a transcript from a YouTube video, grab a transcript from this recording, grab any transcript you want, right? You can actually even use right here, look at this, import file from URL, web pages, blog posts, right? Notion docs, Google Slides, etc. Upload your existing PowerPoint, whatever, and it'll create a presentation from that. All right. It's very efficient, very cool. Now, if I go right
downloading that now, like right.
If I go to generate from a 1-line prompt in a few seconds. This is some example prompts right here. I don't have it saved to the prompt I did the other day, which helped me create this cost of waiting presentation. But imagine, actually here, I think I do. This is going to blow your mind. Hold on. Bear with me 30 seconds while I pull this up. Here on the left sidebar, you can see all my chat prompts and things like that.
So just while you're doing that, while you're looking for that, I'm going to tell Troy, okay, Troy, ask it, are there any plugins available that allow you to connect to Outlook, calendar, etc.? Because that's another thing. Remember, so remember, it's a conversation. Ask it. If you didn't get the answer you want, ask it somewhat different way. Ask it again. Ask it, can I do this? Can I do that? Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you create a calendar of things and email those to my virtual assistant in the Philippines so she can add it to my Outlook calendar? Right? Because you got to start stacking technology with assistance to make us more efficient and to get us out of our comfort zone. Because I could tell you that what you're doing here and presenting and putting together these presentations, Geoff, there's many people in our industry that are not willing to go through the trouble to create the presentation,
right?
But they're more than happy to present the presentation.
Sure, absolutely. Well, okay, so let's look at what I did here. I have this prompt in ChatGPT. You're creating a presentation for real estate agents titled, I forget where I started this, probably a Word doc or something, and I just kind of put it all in this like crunched up view. But anyway, I'm describing what it is. I'm creating a presentation for real estate agents titled The Cost of Waiting to Buy a Home. Here's the details. Any questions before you get, by the way, that's always a good trick to ask, or a hack, ask at whatever the AI is. Do you have any questions before you begin? Because it may want some clarity. And I think that's one of the things I've learned a lot over the last year or so, whatever it is, like I said earlier, clarity. And it's good to ask your digital assistant, are there any other pieces of information, content, or information, that you need before you begin? Because odds are it's going to want more context or specifics from you. So here's the class outline: the cost of waiting, blah, 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 and introducing. So I have broken down introduction, welcome objective, why waiting to buy can be, you guys get it, right? This whole thing is mapped out. And again, it's not in its original format because it truncated it. So that's the prompt. Now I go to Gamma, right? And I clicked the one word, kind of prompt, if you will, describe what you'd like to make. I put that whole thing in there and I hit generate outline. And then there's some different features and functions here in terms of like style of cards and different things like that. But right now it's literally building out the outline. All right, pretty quick, right? So right now, and I can add cards. Right now it's like capped at 8 cards. A card is a slide, basically. But down the bottom here in the purple button, it says generate. Now, what it's going to do is it's actually going to create this slide deck. It's going to pull in relevant AI images. It's going to format it. You can choose the layout, the color, like if you don't like the dark, whatever, all that kind of stuff. And you're going to watch this thing be built out in probably, 1 to 3 minutes.
It's wild.
Like, it's even taking the data I gave it and creating a chart, a graph.
That's amazing.
Now, it's pretty impressive to watch this. It's kind of mind-blowing. But once again, like we said earlier, is this done? No. Okay. Is it a great start? Probably saves you an hour just creating the damn outline. I mean, look at this thing, right?
Not more. And I will tell you, that's something to keep your eye on too. It does make mistakes, like crazy mistakes, where I'm like, and so as I was building my nutrition and supplement stack, I was like, okay, please retype the entire stack. And it would retype the entire stack. And I'm like, half my supplements are gone. What happened? I literally talked to it like that, as if it was a human. And it says, and it goes, oh, I'm so sorry. You're totally right. That won't happen again.
Okay.
Keep an eye on it.
You always have to verify. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Right. And there's always going to be some tweaking, but you'll get better with it. Now, so I just kind of redid what I've been doing for the past week. But now if I let's see here, if I can find, let me go back to the one I actually spent time on this week. Okay. So this is the one I've been working on up until last night. And I build this out as a template for loan officers to use. So that's why there's this placeholder right now of a company logo, Jane Doe, ABC Lending. But this is the one I actually built out. And so what I had to do was add some framing about our goal today. Like, what's my goal for putting this on? And this is realtor facing, right? So by the end of today's workshop, you won't just understand the problem. You have a step-by-step strategy to confidently handle buyer objections, communicate the real cost of waiting, and turn hesitant leads into session. Here's our agenda. Boom, 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 boom. I built that in there. If I had known that in advance, I could have obviously pre-programmed it. And now I'm getting into specific questions that I've put in. Actually, no, you know what? I think that they actually put this in there. I think they did. And I just edited the format of it a little bit. But now I've got this like awesome looking slide deck ready to go. I grabbed these from Keeping Current Matters, by the way.
God, I love them, by the way. We use for all of our agent facing presentations. That's the slides that I use.
Yeah, exactly. So now we have this awesome conversation about the cost of waiting. And then if I come back full circle, this is where I start to give the same example from MBS highway that I showed earlier. And we talked about some rate buy down strategies. And I may change the order and sequence of these slides, but now I'm coming back to that same exact thing that I put in there earlier, just to show agents a visual representation. Now I could like take all this data and recreate an actual chart that might look something similar to this. This is a different representation of the same thing, like buying a $500,000 house versus waiting a year, equity, what happens, all that jazz. Then it chose, so it already gave me this layout. And all I had to do is edit the numbers a little bit, add some extra stuff in here about interest rates. Now I got this cool thing. I put in an example script in there. That could even be AI generated, right? Pros and cons. It put this in there, and then I just added some of the additional bullets or changed the language a little bit. And boom, now I got this awesome presentation.
Sweet. Yeah, I got to tell you, I mean, and again, I think you mentioned this in the beginning. We're just scratching the surface. We're just barely getting going on this and how to use it and what we can use it for and the interaction between all of them yet. And you saw the diversity of who's using what. So I think there will be clearer winners in the future. And you and I, when we were offline, we were talking about VHS versus beta. I think you have very, very wide right now. There will be winners and losers, and there will be platforms that go away completely potentially. But what I've been telling our team is, well, two things. Let me get really mortgage specific right now.
Yep.
I heard yesterday that some companies are already, and by the end of this year, for sure, I don't mean to scare anybody, but this is just reality. From the moment a client inquires about a streamlined refinance to the moment that it's clear to close, 15 minutes.
Wow.
So you will never, us retail loan officers will never see a streamlined refinance or an EARL again, because the servicer will do all of them automatically within 15 minutes. So think about that. So what I've been telling my team is get hyper focused on purchase, business, and specialty work, the stuff that machines can never replace.
Yeah.
Okay. So streamlines, guess what? Why did you like them? Because they were so easy.
Exactly.
So a machine did it now. Okay. So streamlines are going away for the retail loan officer. We'll still capture some, but don't make it a part of your business. Those chop shops are going to do them, and the servicer is going to do them. And then the other thing that you've got going on is guaranteed rate right now is, I'm just going to throw a number out there that I heard from them, is 17% of their agency loans are being funded with no underwriter.
Really?
They're that far along in trusting their AI underwriting process that 17% of them are going that way. We used to call them green light loans at Finance of America. You know, they're day one certainty, PIW, right? They're all the stuff that we already know. So, but those are going down that path and channel as well. And the other one that I've seen, and we're releasing it at PRMG later in the year, probably like Q3, Q4. That's our joke. Everything always happens. In Q4, we'll be releasing the auto dialer, the AI auto dialer that never sleeps. And it will be dialing your database and calling your database whenever you want it to. Like, let's say, for example, right now there was a price drop today and I wanted to reach 5,000 people in my database. How many was I going to possibly call today? 30, 20, 15, 100? Not 5,000. So tell it exactly what you want it to say, train it exactly how you want to say it, send it out, deploy it to 5,000 people, and just collect all the leads. So that's coming. It's coming hard and fast.
You know, just to double tap on what you said there, Gino, is, you know, how can we win in this AI age? And I think that's a great reminder for everybody, is to become some type of a specialist and become known for something unique. And by what I mean by that is a unique problem that you help solve for people that a machine can't solve.
Yeah. And the human element, I think, is important. So I think sales is the last frontier that has to be concerned. This is more of manufacturing is going to get handled first, which will bring down cost to produce. Thank goodness. And it might level the playing field a little bit between companies that are efficient and companies that are inefficient. So if we're all using the same automations, then maybe cost to produce comes down for everybody. And then sales skills. I mean, we saw it after COVID. Sales skills, when you're on the receiving end of somebody that's calling you to already do something with you because they want to, is totally different than sales skills where it's hunting and prospecting and lead generation. And so I think you just have to remind yourself those are skills, and we have to practice, practice, practice. Role play. I mean, we had a friend, one of our guys came the other day. He wanted to do a presentation. I said, dude, let's role play it. He's like, seriously, you're going to make me stand here like I'm giving the presentation to you? I said, absolutely, as many times as it takes until it's perfect. Yeah, so there's those things will never be replaced. That's what we have to be great at. We have to be great at the presentation. We have to be great at the relationship. I mean, obviously with sales mastery, we've been closer with Todd than we've ever been.
Yeah.
Two things I'll tell you. One is he's still absolutely incredible at the way he delivers words. Like Don and I would be in the room with him. He's like, well, let's go do a bunch of videos. And he's like, okay, well, do we have any subject matter? No, just say what you feel. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I go first and I can walk up there and I do my video and I kind of slayed it. I was like, yeah, I did good. Okay, cool. And then Todd goes up and then I'm like, I suck. I'm absolutely terrible. So those are practice skills. They can be improved. He is the master of them. And I just want to recommend and remind everybody that you have to practice relationship and you have to act like it's a real relationship. I just told this to real estate agents. Don't add this to your slide, Geoff. But I did a presentation for 60 or 80 real estate agents just a few weeks ago. I went through this long exercise, but the last piece of the exercise was, if you don't call your birthday, there was 80 people and they were all standing, and then as they were all going down, as I was asking questions, the last question was, do you call people on their birthday? Do you call people 30 days after they close to ask them if everything's going okay? And do you call them on their 1-year anniversary to celebrate? Maybe 3 or 4 were left. And I said, the rest of you are best friends until you close. That is not a relationship. So remember that. Don't be best friends until you close. You can't talk to somebody. How do we do this in our world? We talk to somebody for 30 to 45 days as if they were our best friends, and then poof, we disappear and we never talk to them again. What the hell? That's not relational.
All right, a couple more questions for people. What do you find of your activities besides packaging loans and looking up underwriting guidelines and all that fun stuff? What takes the most of your time when say around content writing, things like that, communicating, talking to buyers, prospects, admin work? Like what kind of admin work, Troy? We got to get specific here. Remember, I'm your digital assistant. Give me specific context. Data entry. What kind of data entry? What are we talking about? Let's take it a step further. Fine. Boy, you like to be vague, don't you? What exactly, when you say financials, what do you mean?
Here, hold on. Troy works with us. So I speak Troy. So let me translate. So what he's trying to say is he doesn't want to do data entry like Joe Tishkoff does, where Joe Tishkoff would like to be on the phone for an hour and take a personal application. So what Troy is struggling with is the multiple places that we need to enter the same data.
Yeah. Okay.
If someone, let's say, applies in Blend, but you still got to put it in Total Expert, and you still got to get it in Encompass somehow, and you got to push it over. So those things, and that stuff, they are bridging that gap with AI for sure. It's coming soon, hard and fast.
100%. So Aubrey said something. So I can't help you with getting documents from clients. That's a separate, more of a human type thing. But reminding clients of steps. So how do you currently remind clients of steps? And I know what you're referring to there is like getting them to turn their steps in, paperwork, following, like all the stuff they got to do, right? So do you have an automated outbound communication request process that currently does that? Let's wait for Aubrey to respond. No, I manual email. So there you go. Right off the bat. I don't know what you use for email, if it's Outlook or something, but right off the bat, so we'll take your question in a minute, Troy. Right off the bat, you could build out using AI as your digital assistant, a series of requests and messages to go out over email and text with reminders. Now, you would obviously use your, whatever platform you're using, your CRM or whatever, your Outlook, and you can schedule those messages. I assume your company has a CRM, I'm guessing. If not, let's get her to a different company. Right? Aubrey, you got a CRM? Don't tell me Outlook is your CRM, because let's just go old school and I'll grab you by the shirt collars and you know what I mean? Outlook is not a CRM. Excel. Oh my God. Jeez. Can we delete her from the meeting?
Aubrey. Well, Aubrey, we will see you at Sales Mastery.
There you go. Yeah. Exactly. Oh my gosh. Like there's Constant Contact, MailChimp. Have you heard of those?
Yeah. Those are easy. I mean, Go High Level is one that people are using a lot right now. That'll allow like really intricate workflows. And to double down on that, Aubrey, what I'd like to say is don't just send emails with videos so that it's you saying, and especially if it's like the third one, right? So maybe the first one's okay to send text, and maybe the second one's okay to send text, and maybe it's a smaller list because it's doing that. And then, we utilize a system that'll tell them what's left on their list. And then we would say to them, it says, you're almost there. I realize you have a real life. I know that you're still a parent, that you're still a school teacher, that you have a job and you have to do all these things, and that buying a house is just one more thing on your plate. I promise you, we're almost at the finish line, and I will help you get the keys to your new home in just a few minutes. Just get me these last 3 pieces and I'll get you pre-approved.
Dude, have you done that before?
But if you do that in a video, you're like relieving the stress. They're like, oh, okay, they understand me. And I didn't have to use ChatGPT for the empathy. I've been there. It's not easy.
Yeah. Well, by the way, that's probably the most brilliant idea around how do you get the buyers to follow through is to send them a one-off video. And by the way, you could choose, I'm going to guess, unless you're doing crazy production, you could do a video for each one of your clients. Now, some people do the generic video of like, hey, what's up? It's Geoff at ABC Mortgage. Just wanted to give you the friend of the room. Like, you're not actually personalizing it for, hey, Gino, what's up? You lazy son of a, like, get me the damn, you know what I'm saying? My guess is today, a lot of LOs could send that one-off email to everybody, or that text message. And by the way, the text message will get opened with the video. On top of that, of course, Aubrey, is start to build out frameworks and processes in your business, because you can't scale without a process. And you've seen, like many of us faces, we are the constraint. So leverage GPT, leverage some of the other AIs to tell it what you want it to do. I want to build out a sequence of messaging that helps buyers follow through and get me the documents they owe me, these documents, blah, 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 blah. I want it to be this cadence, boom, boom, boom. Every 3 days, you're going to send a message. Tell it what you want it to do, and it'll build out the damn script for you. It'll give you 3 messages, 5 minutes, however many weeks you ask it for, it'll give it to you. And literally in 5 minutes, you've got that with some tweaking. And then on your calendar, you know how it is. You got the Smith family, the Jones family. They don't have the stuff in. You're like, oh, Smith family, send the cut and paste the email and send it via your Outlook on top of the video.
Yeah. And not to go down this tangent, but I've eliminated voicemail from my life. If you call me right now, it says, this is not my preferred method. You've reached Gino Fronti's voicemail. This is not my preferred method of communication. Please text me or email me to get a hold of me sooner. Period. Yeah. End of story. I'm done. Like, because we have to at some point start eliminating communications platforms. I can't be everywhere at all times. I'm on Teams. I'm on the podcast. I'm on the text, I'm on WhatsApp, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and people are like, oh, we need to be on a Slack channel. I'm like, no, we don't. I draw the line at Slack. I am not going on a Slack channel, Sonia.
Slack. Right. All right. A couple other things I want to share with you guys before we wrap up. And I got a free gift for you if you stay to the end. First of all, have you done any looking around with custom GPTs? Custom GPTs. So when you're in GPT on your left sidebar here, you can see all these, by the way, right here that are saved. These are GPTs that I've saved. And a lot of these are custom GPTs. If I scroll down here, this is my working history, 7 days, 30 days. Like, look, there's a fair amount of usage going on here. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, but over here, if you go to explore GPTs, this page will come up, and then you can do a search. There's the different categories: writing, productivity, research, etc. I've used this a lot in my context of scripting, writing. For example, does anyone know the book Exactly What to Say by Phil M. Jones? Do you know Robert Cialdini, Influence? Do you know Never Split the Difference?
Yeah.
Like, do you guys want to be script masters? Do you want to be influential and persuasive? Well, there's existing custom GPTs that are already written using the knowledge base of that author, speaker, coach, or whatever. Now, I didn't search for Gino yet, but I'm sure there will be one. Right?
You don't want that one.
But look at this. Exactly What to Say for realtors. All right. So this is a custom GPT, and custom GPTs are pre-built, preloaded, like your favorite friggin' 8-track or whatever cassette tape that's got your top love songs on it, right? And it's already pre-built to understand using the knowledge base of that particular knowledge source. Now, so often these are built by third parties. Sometimes it's in there by the original person itself. But look, I could just hit start
Thank
chat.
you, Troy. Thank you, Troy, for that.
What's an 8-track? Yeah. But look at, It's got this. I can just get started here, or I can put a prompt in. But how about write this? Help me write a script for calling expireds. So I click this button, and it's going to search its knowledge based on what it knows about Phil Jones, exactly what to say in the book. And again, real quick, simple example here, and you could do this for you.
So
and you
Jeff,
can customize it.
Sonia, that I want to do in a go forward basis, and I actually tasked her to find it. I still tasked a human to go find this. I said, what I'd like to do is I'd like to upload every single episode of the radio show that we did. I want to upload every TV show that we did. I want to upload every podcast that we have a recording of. And I want it to understand and be able to speak like Don or I do. And then eventually, not right now because I've already tried it and it's not good enough, but the one that does the one that replicates your persona.
Yeah.
Right. It's not good enough yet, but it will be. And then what I want to do is upload all of that. And I want it to say, move like I do, talk like I do, use my hands like I do to speak and replicate me and present this. So does that mean I don't want to do personal presentations? No, but I can be on 3 podcasts at a time.
Yeah.
Kind of wild, but that's where we're going.
Yeah, for sure. I want to give another gift to everybody right here. This is something, by the way, would you like to share something tangibly useful for your realtors today that will help them in their business? I assume everybody's saying yes in the chat. Let me share with you a custom GPT that I created for a class we did, which was about open houses. I forget the exact title. But anyway, I decided instead of giving away a PDF or a lead magnet or something, I decided to create a custom GPT that is an open house expert. Notice it says, yay, by me, woohoo. So you can, what's cool about custom GPTs is they're like these programmable assistants, robots, friggin' smart, right? Just crazy. And it will learn, and you can pre-program it to do certain things. And so what I did was pre-program this with content and resources to say, hey, you're an expert real estate agent helping host effective open houses with scripts, posts, and follow-up sequences. And these are just ways to get started. Obviously, you can prompt this for specifics and things like that. But how about this? How can I promote my open house on Instagram? Now, imagine you're going to share this with realtors and say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Realtor, do you do open houses? Or you open up or whatever, right? Hey, have you ever considered, would you be open to, Phil Jones, a custom GPT that will help you better market and promote and capture leads from your open houses? Yeah, I would, right? Okay, great. So I've got this custom GPT. I'm going to share the link with you, which, by the way, it's right here. This is a URL. I'm going to put it in the chat in a minute. And you click one of these buttons. How can I promote my open house on Instagram? Here's what it's all about. Blah, 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 blah. And it's going to build out this strategy. 3 to 5 days before the event, feature a sneak peek carousel. Okay. It's going to tell you what to put, image, slides, caption idea. And it's going to take you through this kind of sequence of step 1, step 2, step 3 with actual examples of content, captions, emojis, all that fun stuff. You can even ask it for relevant images if you want, but I would assume do pictures of the house perhaps. All right. And so there you go. This is a gift you can give to your real estate agents. And I'm going to share it with you in the chat. Unless, I don't know if anybody wants it. I don't think, Gino. What do you think?
You should definitely share it 100%. Okay. What I'm thinking is, and this is just the reality, I left ChatGPT a long time ago and moved to Perplexity because it was serving certain purposes in my life. Now I'm realizing, based on what you're showing me, I'm like, dude, I need to go back to ChatGPT because it's changed so much in the last 6 months that I don't even know what it's doing today.
Right. So to the person who asked the question, I don't see those in the profile at the very top right. This little handsome photo is. It's been a while since I've actually had to search for GPTs, but up here you should see something about my GPTs or search GPTs or something. Or if not, on the left sidebar, search for Explore GPTs. Hopefully that helps. Or ask GPT itself, where can I find custom GPTs?
The other thing, Jeff, is somebody asked, is this the paid version of GPT?
This one is not. No, you don't need to get access to it from that. No.
Awesome. So that's one of the things that I keep getting resistance from people on that. I hear people like, I'm not paying $200 for something a month. I'm like, are you crazy? Like what? Like, it's not paying something a month. It's investing. Now, if you're just going to, buy the book and let it sit on the shelf, then I agree with you. Don't do that. But if you're going to use it every day, I can't think of a better investment you can make than to have a personal assistant, a personal digital assistant for a couple $100 a month.
Well, and again, I think it's all about like use case and ROI, but just so you know, as I said, the one I just showed you with everything in there is the free version. You can level up to the next level for $20 a month. Now, whether you're right for 200 a month, I don't want to disagree with you, Gino. Obviously, it's about an investment in your business, and I agree. I've been thinking about use cases for that. However, most of what I do is either on the free plan or the $20 a month plan.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm just saying, it's just
Yeah,
with all the money we spend on things,
I agree.
if you were going to leverage it,
Yeah,
then it's still a very inexpensive investment relative to what we do.
well, if you're going to, exactly, if you're going to really optimize it, and you, by the way, most people are at this stage of like, they're going to start slow and ramp up, but eventually get to the point of like, how much would it cost you to hire somebody to outsource all your content creation, your writing, your social media posts, your emails, etc. Like, it's going to cost you more than $200 a month to do that.
Yeah.
So,
look, I think we covered a lot. And we could probably do this for days, right? Examples and examples and examples and examples. So Geoff, if you wouldn't mind,
yeah.
I don't usually do this because I just finished telling Sonia that no one should repeat in 12 months. But I'd like to have you back in the next 3 months because I think this is moving so quickly that I'd love to have a refresher in 3 months. And I want two things. I want the homework assignment for the people that are with us today to have practiced and tried and done all this stuff. And then we could say, okay, where are you today compared to where you were 3 months ago?
Yeah.
And both of us will have leveled up in the next 3 months. And I feel like this is one of those things where we need the reps.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You got to get better. You can't get six-pack abs going to the gym once.
I tried that for a long time. It didn't work.
Even the lipo doesn't work because it just goes somewhere else.
It does.
Not that I've done that, please. No, I haven't. It's just a stupid joke. Okay,
Yeah.
so a homework assignment. So I think the homework assignment would be somewhere in the realm of content creation, whether it's a presentation, whether it's, Aubrey writing a series of emails to get buyers off the fence and get them the stuff they owe you, right? Think about the lifting you do from an admin perspective. Somebody answered his question about uploading to Grok or whatever. Think about the admin type stuff, writing, content, repetitive tasks. What do you do that's repetitive that you can outsource to AI?
That's wild. Well, Geoff, I really appreciate the time went by really fast. I appreciate you being with us today. Why don't you plug your podcast, man? Everybody should be everybody should be checking out your podcast, bro.
Yeah, it's Mortgage Marketing Radio on your favorite podcast player, Apple, Spotify. You can go search it on Google, ChatGPT. But it's Mortgage Marketing Radio. I've been doing it 8+ years, 360+ episodes. So it's been a minute.
Badass. And Housing Wire recognized it as one of the top 10 podcasts in the industry. And of course it is, because you're running it.
Hey man, you guys got a great community too. I'm looking forward to attending Sales Mastery this year. It's going to rock. Love the new stuff that's coming. So everybody, if you haven't registered, they need to.
They do. And Sonia, you can put up that slide that we've got for Sales Mastery. I got to tell you, I'm so excited about working with Todd. We've been working on the agenda and polishing the agenda and changing the agenda. And by the way, we are using AI to help us with the agenda. So this is nothing foreign to us. We're spending a lot of time in ChatGPT, and so Todd's in ChatGPT all the time. He's like, whenever we have a question that comes up, he's like, let's ask Chat, and he brings it up. So next week we've got Sean Herrero coming, and I just saw Sean at the Modern Mortgage Summit. And he's got a little bit of a tweak on what he's been doing. If you've already been around Sean for a while, you've probably learned about his open house kits, and you see him on social media debunking a lot of myths right now, debunking the headline myths. So I can't wait to see what he's got in store for us. And Bill Hart, man, what a stud. Bill is a guy that when you listen to him talk, you feel like you got better at whatever it is that you do because you spent some time in the room with him, someone that elevates your game every single time you're with him. And we'd love to see you at Sales Mastery. We're going to start announcing speakers in the next few weeks. We've nailed down a couple of headline speakers. We're pretty excited about it. They're all big names that you've heard before. So, and this time it's different. We're not doing what we did at Momentum Builder. We're not doing what was done at Sales Mastery. We're not doing what's being done at Forward. We're not doing what's being done at Mastermind. This is a completely unique experience that's totally designed to help you be the best version of yourself in 2026. And you